Undefined goals will create into you negotiable efforts that you negotiate with. Why? Because your behaviors doesn't matter. The things that you do doesn't matter. Why? Because you cook up to a point that you never had a reason to cook up to anyway. So you never feel the lack of. You never feel like you're losing. Why? Because there is nothing to cook towards. Nothing matters. Behaviors, the right behaviors only matters when you have a defined goal for the right behaviors to matter for. You would never have the right behaviors that matters, that are important, that are weighty, if you never have a goal that is defined clearly. I created the execution playbook for leaders and high performers to hit bigger goals faster with less wasted effort. Now let's get into the show. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. Here we are going to tackle Credos 56 through, I believe, 60. Yeah. And these Credos are going to be valuable for execution and focus. So if you are a believer in your ability to execute and have intense focus, then this show is for you. Credo 56, Kekich says, identify exactly what it is you want. This takes a lot of thought. Then don't let anything stand in your way of getting it. Kekich is saying you must have a clarity on what you want. You first must be in awareness of what is it that is beneficial, that is ideal. Kekich says, before anything else, do you understand and know your goal? Do you? Can you identify it from the noise, from the mess? When you hear the voice of your goal, of your future self speaking, can you notice it? Or is it a camouflage to you? He says, identify exactly what it is that you want, that your heart desires. He is not saying you go ahead, chase it. He said, first, I need you to identify. I need you to escape the nuances of the mess, the novelty, the new ideas, the microwave attention, the trends of trying to do other stuff that doesn't matter. What am I saying? Chasing things that you're only going to chase for a few days or a few weeks. He's saying, no, I need you to figure out and identify what it is exactly that you want. Slow down. Rein in your resources. Rein in your treasures, your time, your attention, and your energy for the thought processes of figuring out what is it exactly that you want. And catch it here, what he says. He didn't say identify the things that you don't want. He said identify what you do want. Figure out what you do want. This isn't fear motivation here. This is vision. I don't care about what you don't want. He's saying, I don't care about what you don't want. Because if you focus on what you don't want, you only attract much more of that which you do not want. The person that goes to the gym to not be fat, 10 years later, the reason they go to the gym is to not be fat. They haven't escaped the jail cell of them not wanting to be fat, even though they're not even fat anymore. But they still live in that identity. Why? Because you cannot escape something. You make a goalpost. You become more of it. So if your goalpost is fear, then you will become more of that fear. And you will operate from that fear. You will operate from it. So Kekich is saying here, identify with vision, with desire, with hope, excitement for the future, not to escape a thing. Yes, you have to have a circumstance that you do not enjoy, that does not please you, because growth does come out of discomfort. But if that is the only thing that is motivating you, you would never experience true freedom, because that thing will always have a grip on you. Your clarity eliminates hesitation, and your focus will eliminate procrastination. Clarity, understanding the nuances, the processes of it is that what you do want, will eliminate hesitation. Why? Because you see and you can trust it. You are clear. Whenever do we as people do not progress when we have full clarity on the situation? Every single time you progress. I answer for you. Every single time. There isn't a moment in life where we sit with full clarity and awareness and we're stagnant. No, it doesn't happen. We always move forward. We always proceed. So clarity will eliminate your hesitation. But also, focus, your daily focus will eliminate procrastination. And you may think, well, those are similar and the same. They're not. Because hesitation is when you are afraid to move. When you are afraid to move. Procrastination is when you are in and out. You are doing a little bit. You are trying to tread in it. You're being wishy-washy, half-hearted in the process of it. That's procrastination. You understand, you have the clarity already, but you still refuse. Why? Because lack of focus and direction. Hesitation is before the start. But procrastination is when you have already committed, but you have the lack of focus and hope to motivate you, push you through. Your undefined goals will create negotiable efforts. You having goals that are not clear, when you can't identify exactly what you want through your thought processes and taking the time through your due diligence to think about a thing, creates negotiable effort. Identify what it is, exactly what it is. Exactly. There's a previous credo that we had, and Kekich says, have vivid, explicit goals. I'm sure you remember that one. And visualize them intensely. On that credo, I don't remember which one, of course, but vivid. What does that mean? He's saying having goals that are vivid and explicit. What we came to find out that means to be crystal clear on what that goal is. So you cannot have goals that are just dreams. No, you have to have vision. Turn your dreams into a process and systemize it, and that creates vision. Vision. Undefined goals will create into you negotiable efforts. Efforts that you negotiate with. Why? Because your behaviors doesn't matter. The things that you do doesn't matter. Why? Because you cook up to a point that you never had a reason to cook up to anyway. So you never feel the lack of. You never feel like you're losing. Why? Because there is nothing to cook towards. Nothing matters. Behaviors, the right behaviors only matters when you have a defined goal for the right behaviors to matter for. You would never have the right behaviors that matters, that are important, that are weighty, if you never have a goal that's defined clearly. Precision and desire produces relentless action. Your ability to be efficient in your desire, not being wishy-washy. 1 week you do this, 1 week you do that. No, your ability to be precise, to be clear, to be constant in who you are, will produce into you relentless action. Why? Because you grow exponentially as a person and your behaviors start stacking energetically and emotionally. And the person that you become in the vertical of your essence starts to produce increasingly better in your production rate. What am I saying? Who you become and the perpetualness of this doing the same thing over time. Eventually, you start stacking and multiplying. And the things that you do, the effect is 10 times greater because your understanding and wisdom from the thing, of time and tension of that thing. But that comes with precision and not changing and being efficient and constant in who you say you are and what you say you're going to do. Credo 57. Kekich says, you can get any job done through the sheer force of will when combined uncompromising integrity and competence. Strong leadership is the key. He says, listen, you can get any job done. There's no but in this. There's no however. He is saying, you, Johnny, can get any job done. Anything you commit to, you focus on, you can get any job done through the sheer force of will when combined with uncompromising integrity. You're not voiding who you say you are, and competence. Your willpower without integrity will collapse. Why? What do I mean? You know what confidence means? It means to confide. And the world today lacks confidence because we lack the ability to confide in ourselves. Why do we do that? Well, we don't trust ourselves, so we can't confide in. It's like when weather comes, you take shelter in your house, you confide in your house, you believe that your home is going to protect you, so you confide in it. We cannot do that with ourselves. Why? Because we don't trust ourselves. Why? Because we prove to ourselves over and over again as people that we do not believe in what we say. Why? Because we say things all the time and we lie. We don't follow up because we have no integrity. Kekich says, your willpower, your ability to be strong, to get things done, but it's without integrity, it will collapse. It's not sustainable. When the weather comes, when the storm comes, you cannot take shelter into yourself. You will not be sustainable. It won't happen. Longevity isn't the game you're playing. He's saying have integrity. Willpower doesn't matter if your integrity is weak, if your foundation is weak, if your structure is weak, if your belief, the words you say, your processes and systems as a person is weak, you will collapse and you won't make it. So fix it. Because the long game is the only game that matters. And if you're not playing the long game, you're not even in the game anyway. Integrity without competence halts the process of progression. You want progression? Become competent. We had a credo before, a previous credo. Kekich says, become competent in your work. If you don't remember this, you need to go back. I can't tell you which episodes, but you should go back. But become competent in your work. If you cannot become competent, you stall progression. You can have integrity now, but if you're not even competent, if you can't follow up, you can't even agree and guarantee your results, halting. The progress is halted. You have stalled the progress. So become competent, become a mastery, and study the game as it needs to be studied. You want power? This is how it happens. And leadership is the key, he says. You want power? Kekich says, excel in your will, excel in your integrity, and excel in your competence. You must have willpower. You must have the discipline. When things aren't easy, you must understand what needs to be done and the non-negotiables. But you also must have integrity. You must not lie to yourself. You must be able to confide in yourself. Have confidence. But if you're a liar, you speak lies to yourself, you never follow up on who you say you are and what you will do, you will not have integrity. And power will never flow through you. But competence, if you're not competent, if you lack the focus, if you lack the understanding, you cannot harness the power. Leadership is your ability to fuse all of these together and harness this into a key that accesses power. Okay? Credo 58. Kekich says, you are responsible for exactly who, what, and where you are in life. That will be just as true this time next year. Situations aren't important. How you react to them is. You have to play it where it lies. He starts off, you are responsible for exactly who you are, what you are, and where you are. Period. You are. No one else is. And you may think, well, I know this. No, well, do you believe it? Do your actions, behaviors, and processes in life dictate to you that you do believe this? Or are you again lying to yourself? I say this because we are in a hypnotic state of lying to ourselves constantly. We believe this, but we do differently. We say this, but we do differently. Constantly. All the time. Over and over again. And it's a normalcy. It's who we are as a people. And we must get out of this if we want power and progression. What is it? You cannot lie to yourself. The only thing you can do is measure yourself by your fruit and behaviors. Because those things won't lie to you. If you do these things, it means that you are okay doing these things. And if you are not okay with the thing that you are doing, you must not be okay with the heart posture and the belief of you doing those things. Period. That is the only way. You cannot say this is who I am, but that person you say you are does something different than what you say you do. It can't be. You are what you do because only the heart does what it believes in, what it should do. You are responsible. Take that. You cannot lie to yourself about that. That is who you are. Right now, in this moment, you are the reason for where you are. Your life is in your hands. Take it. Live with it. And use it for the benefit. This is a blessing from God the Father. Why? Because it would be very detrimental for us as people for not having the ability to be responsible. Why? Because if responsibility is abdicated to someone else, then they are in control. So if they are in control of my responsibility, then I have no control of getting out of my situation or improving it for the better. So I am now thankful that I am responsible because that means there is a way out. Okay? Your ownership restores control. Your ownership brings you back to the seat of control. You must own up to all things. Even if you did not start it, even if you did not cause it, it doesn't matter. It's your life, your responsibility, period. End of story, end of day. Your circumstances, I don't care about them. They're not important. And you may think, man, this guy's crazy. No, I care about you. I love you. And I'm happy that you're here. But the thing is, your situations, circumstances are not more important to what you believe about them. Your situations are not the things that control you. It's your reaction to them. That is what controls us. That is what dictates our life. It doesn't matter what happened to me. What matters is how do I pivot? How do I react, respond when the thing happens to me or for me? That's what matters. You have to play it where it lies. Kekich says, it doesn't matter what happens in your situations. It doesn't matter what kind of cards you are dealt. As you do intentionally with focus and vision, and do the best of your ability without any excuses, because excuses outsources power. The word excuse means to execute, right? Power, to deplete, to eradicate power from your life. So when you are having excuses, you are executing power out of your life, not in your life. You're not using it through your life. You are executing it out of your life, removing it. You must not have excuses. Okay? You must not. Leaders adapt without complaint. They understand the game. They understand the math. What happens here happens there. I can control all things. I can only control how I react. I'm not going to focus my time, attention, and energy onto things that I can't control. But what I can control is my reaction, my beliefs, my complaints and processes and behaviors about a thing. So I'm going to focus my treasures, my time, attention, and energy into those and allow that to become exponentially well in this area. I want power, I want progress. Okay, stop wasting time and energy and attentions into things that doesn't give you back an investment that's greater than what you gave. Leaders will adapt without complaint. Why? Because it gets nowhere, and they're wasting time, attention, and energy into things that does not progress them. Okay, Credo 59. Kekich says, the foundation of achievement is intense desire. The world's highest achievers have the highest levels of dissatisfaction. Those with the lowest levels are the failures. The best way to build desire is to make resolute choices for the future. You want progress? You want achievement? You must have intense desire. Okay? You must have intense desire. He says the world's highest achievers have the highest levels of dissatisfaction. Okay? They are not comfortable. They have things that they look at and say, this isn't pleasing to me. I'm going to fix it. Okay? This is very healthy. The only time this is not healthy is when someone mistakes their identity into fear. Okay? Which we're not getting into that. But having a discomfort about situations, about the humanitarian things, these things are important for you not to be, oh, well, there's starvation here. This arena, this faction of people are spiritually poor, mentally poor, emotionally weak. This system is weak and I do nothing. No, you do something about it. There must be a dissatisfaction. It must disgust you that something exists. If you're not disgusted by anything, then you are disgusting. Because you're living off consumption and you're not producing. You must be productive. And Kekich says the world's highest achievers have the highest levels of dissatisfaction. And those with the lowest level are the failures. Those that are not dissatisfied with anything, that they are consuming everything and not producing for the better, they are the lowest levels. Why? Because they are the bottom feeders. They are the ones that are okay with infestation existing. They are the ones that are okay with diseases existing. COVID was a joke. There are more spiritual diseases out there, more mental, emotional diseases out there in the world today, like dumbness, bondage, fear that creates a bondage upon people, a poverty mindset, worse than COVID ever was. And we have created this mindset. We have created this ideology that the only physical, fearful illness, disease out there was the flu and COVID. No. There are more mental, emotional, and spiritual things happening right now that are more damaging than COVID ever was. So we must wake up to the idea that if we are living in comfortability and we are okay with the illnesses of our mind, body, and soul existing and thriving, then we have become the lowest level of failures. Because we not that we are even participators in this, but we are more of advocates of this. We are part of the system that sustains degenerate beliefs in people, the disempowering things of the world. We must escape it as people. We must rise up and claim the higher achievements. We must not be okay and aligned with things that does not equal up to the empowerment of thyself, the world, and the Father in heaven. Period. Your commitment will sharpen desire. Be committed. And in a process, you will become more efficient and precise on what you do. Credo 60. Kekich says, integrate every aspect of your life. Body, mind, spirit, relationships, and business. And each of them is within itself. Integrating means understanding and digesting a process and seeing relationships among seemingly unrelated phenomena. It is a sign of innovative genius. What is he saying? First, use your resources. Don't be foolish. It is very wise of a person, of you, to understand the factions of life and use those for your benefit, for the good. Understand every aspect of your body, mind, and spirit, relationships, and business, how they work, the intricacies of these things, the science of these things, because they're all one and they all work together. Fragmenting will weaken your performance. Open your eyes to the things of integration, because integration creates genius. You not wasting resources is a genius move. You want to multiply your insight? Multiply your leverage? Integration. Use your resources now. Family, friends, financials, community, career, emotional stability, spiritual stability. Use these things together as one. And when you have wholeness, that is the ultimate leverage. Integrate every aspect of your life together and within itself. And make sure you are aligned in all of these things and have the same principles living in all of these things. Because once you get that, you have the ultimate leverage of executing to power and finding the greatest level of achievement. So, final challenge, or your weekly challenge. Decide what you want exactly and remove the one thing that is standing in your way. Once you have the exact vision, act with integrity ownership, and have integration of your factions of life for the next 7 days. Do this, digest it, and your ability to obtain power and progression will increase and begin to multiply. That's all I have for you. I'll talk to you next week. Deuces.